The John A. Logan College Teaching and Learning Center presents the Logan Defenders Podcast, featuring the college's cybersecurity team, coached by Mark Rogers.
Passwords and password managers, the ins and outs of how to secure your online identities. To understand passwords and why they are so important in today's interconnected world, we must first ask ourselves, what is a password? In its simplest form, a password is a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. We use passwords to protect everything from our car door locks to our online identities, and they have become a critical component of information security. Passwords serve to protect user accounts. However, a poorly constructed password may result in the compromise of individual systems, data, or entire identities. To prevent these breaches, a password must meet or exceed certain guidelines to create what is commonly referred to as a strong password. What makes a strong password? Before looking at what makes a strong password, I feel it is important to address what makes an insecure or weak password. The SANS Institute and its members state that a weak password means any or all of the following criteria. A password is considered weak if it has less than 8 characters, if it can be found in a dictionary. This includes foreign languages, slang terms, dialects, or jargon. If it contains personal information such as birth dates, addresses, phone numbers, names of family members, pets, friends, and/or fictional characters. If it contains work-related information such as building names, system commands, sites, companies, hardware, or software. If it uses common patterns such as AAA, BBB, QWERCY, etc., or if it contains common words spelled backwards or preceded or followed by a number, such as password 1234, secret 1 secret. Last, but perhaps most important of all, is a password should never be written down on paper or stored in a file anywhere on a computer unless it is encrypted. While this list may seem excessive, the power of modern-day consumer computer hardware makes systematically guessing passwords like those listed incredibly easy. To drive this point home, consider the following. A strong, humanly generated 8-character password consisting of a few upper and lowercase letters, a couple of numbers, and a special character or two approaches approximately only 100 billion possible combinations. In 2012, a password cracking expert revealed a cluster of 25 graphics processing units, or GPUs, he had put together that are capable of making 350 billion guesses per second. With this kind of power, simple passwords like what I have shown so far could be broken in under a second. The SANS Institute doesn't just define what makes a password insecure. They've also published an excellent list of criteria that can be used to help guide everyone from large corporations to basic home users in creating strong passwords. A password can be considered secure if it contains at least 12 alphanumeric characters, and alphanumeric simply means letters, numbers, and symbols. If it contains both upper and lowercase letters, contains at least one number, contains at least one special character such as exclamation point, question mark, semicolon, etc. On the screen here you'll see a few examples of what could be considered a strong password. Now at this point you may be thinking, well that's all fine and dandy, but how do you expect me to remember something so complicated? This is where a password manager will come into play. I personally have between 150 to 200 unique individual passwords, one for each computer, site, or service I use, all of which are stored in a single encrypted database that I can synchronize across all of my devices using Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, or any other cloud-based storage system you may choose. What is a password manager? A password manager is a software application that helps you store and organize passwords. Most modern password managers store passwords in a database that is encrypted using the AES 256-bit encryption standard. A password manager requires you to create a master password, a single, ideally very strong password, which grants you access to the encrypted database. Many password managers also support two-factor authentication, which helps to prevent unauthorized access to your passwords in case your master password is lost or stolen. Two-factor authentication comes in a number of forms. from a key file stored on a USB drive to a special time-sensitive code generated by a phone app that must be entered to gain access to your stored passwords. I will be talking about 3 of the most popular password managers on the web today and some of their most important and notable features. Those 3 are LastPass, Dashlane, and KeePass Password Safe. LastPass is a cloud-based password manager. This means you don't have to install it in the typical sense of the word. Rather, it is integrated with your browser of choice by installing a plugin, or what is sometimes referred to as an add-on. This also means that your password database is stored remotely on LastPass's servers, though a local copy is also kept on your computer in case you lose internet connectivity. LastPass is free to use on Windows, Linux, and Mac. However, if you want mobile support, you have to pay $1 a month to upgrade to the premium edition. Like all password managers, LastPass requires you to create a master password of your choosing when you create the database. In addition, it also supports a number of two-factor authentication options, including Google Authenticator integration and biometric identification, such as fingerprint readers, facial recognition, etc. LastPass reportedly encrypts and decrypts your data locally on the PC, so your data is unusable if stolen from LastPass's servers. In addition to basic manual entry methods such as copy-paste or typing each entry individually, LastPass offers importing username password information from a variety of sources such as browser password managers, text or CSV files, and importing from other software password managers. LastPass also has the ability to perform a live capture on your login information as you enter it, so you don't have to add each site to your password database manually. What this means is, say I go to Facebook and enter my login information. When I hit enter, LastPass automatically records the information into the appropriate fields in the database, as well as the URL and title of the site. LastPass will tell you if a password needs improvement and generates a random password for you if you like, though this feature isn't directly tied to your Vault entries. Furthermore, LastPass will alert you to any recent security breaches they are aware of, such as the Heartbleed bug, and check your passwords to let you know if any of your password entries may have been affected. LastPass can open a URL, fill out your username and password, and log you in all with a single click. It even supports sites that may have 2 or 3 steps to their login process. It also supports autofill for shipping information and credit card info. As mentioned earlier, LastPass works on Windows, Mac, and Linux operating systems, and there is an iOS and Android version available, though you are required to pay $1 a month for the support. Dashlane. Dashlane is free for a single device, Windows, Mac, iOS, or Android. If you want it on more than one device, you have to pay $29.99 a year. Like LastPass, Dashlane uses a browser plugin for information capturing and form filling, though unlike LastPass, Dashlane is installed locally on your system and does not store your password database on any remote servers. Dashlane requires a master password of at least 8 characters, though I would recommend 12 or more, with at least 1 letter, 1 digit, and 1 symbol, and it provides a visual cue when you accomplish each requirement. Dashlane provides two-factor authentication available via Google Authenticator. To configure this, you simply point your smartphone at the supplied QR code on the screen, and then you can set it to require a code at every login or just require it in order to link a new device to your account. During installation, or at any time you wish, Dashlane can import the passwords you may have stored in the browser. Dashlane then deletes these passwords from the browser and turns off the browser's password capture feature. Dashlane also supports importing directly from numerous other popular password managers. When you create a new account, log into a current one, or even when changing your password, Dashlane offers to capture you new credentials. At the time of capture, you can assign the login to a category and give it any name you like. When you're setting up a new account or changing your password, you can click the Impala icon in the new password field to quickly generate a password. Or if you want a little more control over the process, you can click the Dashlane button in the browser and select the Password Generator tab. Here you can choose the password length and character sets, such as digits, letters, or symbols, or a combination of all of them. Dashlane's built-in strength meter will let you know how secure it thinks your password is. Since the generator defaults to 8 characters, it will inform you your passwords are not quite secure enough, so I would recommend bumping the length up to 12 and setting that as the new default. Like LastPass, Dashlane will alert you to any recent security breaches they are aware of, such as the Heartbleed bug, and check your passwords to let you know if any of your password entries may have been affected. Click the Dashlane toolbar button in your browser for a list of saved websites organized by category. When you click one, Dashlane will navigate to the site and automatically log you in. When you revisit the site, Dashlane will fill in the saved credentials. If you've stored multiple logins, just click the Impala icon that Dashlane adds to the password entry field for a pop-up menu of choices. Dashlane can be used on a single device of your choice for free. As mentioned before, it works on Windows, Mac OS X, iOS, and Android. For $29.99 a year, Dashlane will allow you to sync your data across all of your devices. KeePass. KeePass is 100% free to use across all of your devices. Furthermore, KeePass is 100% open source software and is certified by the Open Software Initiative. Why does open source software matter, you may be asking yourself? Open source software means that anyone who wishes to can freely download and view the source code for the program in its entirety. Why is this important? I believe Bruce Schneer explains it best in this excerpt from his newsletter titled Cryptogram. The idea is simple. Cryptography is hard to do right, and the only way to know if something was done right is to be able to examine it. Even worse, it doesn't do any good to have a bunch of random people examine the code. The only way to tell good cryptography from bad cryptography is to have it examined by experts. Analyzing cryptography is hard, and there are very few people in the world who can do it competently. Before an algorithm can really be considered secure, it needs to be examined by many experts over the course of years. For authentication, you have a few options to choose from. You can choose a master password alone, choose a master password and key file combination. The key file should be stored on some form of removable media, like a small flash drive, and it should be kept hidden and should only be inserted when accessing your database. Or if you prefer something simpler, you are also able to associate the KeePass database with your Windows user account. In addition to the above options, KeePass users have developed a number of plugins, another benefit of open source software, that provide even more options for user authentication. The entire database is encrypted using AES 256-bit encryption by default, or 2FISH 256-bit encryption if you prefer. Every password is automatically measured for quality, and a random password generator will churn out a password to your specification. KeePass makes it easy to switch over from another password manager by offering over 35 import formats to choose from based on what program, if any, you were using to manage your passwords before. You can even import from the built-in password managers included with Firefox or Chrome. Besides importing, you can simply add entries by typing them in manually or using copy-paste. Each entry's password is automatically measured for quality, represented in bits, and a random password generator will churn out passwords to your specifications. KeePass offers a couple of pre-built profiles for password generation, though you can also specify custom parameters such as length and the different types of characters to include in the password. KeePass offers a simple username password autofill option by default. You simply navigate to the site you are wanting to log into, and then in your database right-click the associated entry and choose Autotype. In addition, there are plugins for Firefox, PassIFox, and Google Chrome, Chrome iPass, that allow you to fill entries directly from your browser as opposed to flipping back to the database by simply right-clicking in the login field to be filled. Note that this feature requires the URL field in the database to be filled in. KeePass does support more advanced autofill options, though these must be defined through command strings and take time and a trial-error process to perfect. The official version of KeePass is Windows only. However, due to the fact that KeePass is open source software, it has a number of unofficial clones that allow you to use your database on Mac OS X, Linux, iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and even Pocket PC. All of these can be found through the KeePass downloads page.